Hello, hello, hello. This is Rochelle coming to you during quarantine time to do a quick little makeup tutorial. Um, I've done a few videos in the past going over a full face using certain products to achieve a certain look. Today, I'm going to focus on using like powder foundation, um, which I do like to use, especially during the summertime. Um, First, I do not own any of the rights of the music playing in the background. In fact, it's like Facebook Live playing, so I figure why not. Again, I don't own rights to the music. So I'm going to start off with a little skin prep. Um, I'm going to start off with my serum. And this serum is by Sephora Collection. It's the Glow Serum. It is Super Serum Ultra Glow Serum. It's with vitamin C and E. Awesome product here. Um, does help lighten and brighten the skin, even out the skin. Vitamin C is known to do that. Excuse my chip nail. Pay it no mind. We're gonna act like it doesn't exist. Like I said, it's quarantine time. There's not a lot of beauty care going on. A lot of places are closed. A lot of businesses are closed right now due to the quarantine. So I'm going to control my controllables right now and just work on what I have present with me, and that is some skincare and makeup, playing in it, showing you all how I do it. There's no right or wrong way. We all have different approaches of achieving a desired look. I will always tell you that. So vitamin C, the glow serum. Next, I'm going to go into my moisturizer that I've been using by Shiseido called Waso Shiseido moisturizer. This one is more for like the drier skin type. Um, Ultra hydrating. If your skin is more oily or a combination, you would probably prefer like a gel-like or very light moisturizer to deliver that water and hydration your skin may need. Okay, my music cut off. Maybe that's not a bad thing because that was getting a little noisy. Okay. Now, I feel like I'm giving you all face. All right, so next I'm going to go into an oil. When I use powder foundations and having drier skin, and even if you don't have dry skin, you have oily skin, oil is the only thing that can really fight oil or control oil. So introducing oil to the skin will not do it any disservice. It'll actually help balance it out. I have dry skin, so I'm looking for the glow benefits of it and the extra hydration. This one is by Youth to the People. I call them YTP. This is the Makui Acai Prickly Pear Goji. So nice. Just gonna use a little bit of that. Just a tad bit. And this will get the skin glowing. So my music is over. I'm gonna give us some new music. Again, the music I put on, I do not own the rights to it. One of my favorites. Musiq Soulchild. We'll listen to him. Can never go wrong. Okay. Next, I got my oil on, the prickly pear oil. Does give the skin a little more luminosity. I'm going to adjust my lighting here. I don't know, maybe it's my Wi-Fi. Alright, never mind that. Next, I'm going to start with the brows. Now, I haven't had my brows done in, goodness, a long time. I'm using the number 5 by Benefit, Precisely My Brow Pencil. Again, controlling the controllables. I can't control what's going on with this music. I could shut it off, though. I believe I'm having some technical difficulties with my Wi-Fi internet. And because of that, I think I'm just going to turn it all off. The area that I like to focus on is the tail. My brows are pretty full. I mean, there's some sparseness in certain areas. I just kind of fill that in a little bit and just fill in the sparse areas. And I never really worry about making little errors on the brow because I do clean it up. I use a little concealer afterwards. And I'm just measuring where the beginning of that brow would be. It's right there. And I'm doing these little strokes upward. And now going into that tail. And after you've done all of this, you want to make sure you brush through it. That's what makes the brow look nice, nice and natural. And it diffuses that the pencil throughout the brow. It distributes it nicely. Okay, so I have a little harsh line there, so I want to make sure that gets a good brushing. Same right there. And just drag that out over there, these tails. All right. Urban Decay actually came out with a inked brow, is called. It reminds me of like Wonder Brow. It claims to make have very long wear. I want to say over 24 hours. Don't know the exact number, so don't quote me on anything. But I can tell you this. I went out, I rode my bike, I, did various activities where I would be sweating and my brows did not budge. So I'm just kind of running through my brow with this. And I actually really like it. I chose the color Dark Drapes, it's called. As you can see, my brows are pretty dark, so I found this to be one of the darker ones, and it's like a neutral tone. All right, enough of the brow. Next, I'm going to go on to the concealer that I like to use to kind of trace and clean up the brow a little bit. This one is NARS Medium Dark 2 in the shade Caramel. I'm going to just take a concealer brush and trace throughout that brow just to give it a nice clean look, open up the lid area, and almost make it look as though I just got my brows done. And I just told you guys earlier, I haven't done that in a long time. I haven't had my brows done. So this will kind of give you that illusion that they are freshly done. I just need to find the appropriate brush. Alright, the brush I intend to find I can't find. So I'm just going to use the little short shader concealer synthetic fiber brush. And just trace this out. Just to give it a nice cleaned up look. I don't like to go heavy under the brow with my concealer, and that's just my personal preference. You definitely want to drag this down into the lid area. Now, the look I'm going to do today, like the eye, this is going to be a very basic look. I'm going to use probably 2 different brushes and place it all over the lid with, 2 colors, or we'll see. Something simple. The focus is really to get a full polished appearing face. And because I put that under the brow, I want to kind of drag that into the center of my face too to kind of balance it out, that concealer. Alright, dragging this down. I'm your unconventional makeup applier, if that's a word, if that's a such thing. I think I just made it up. Can you turn that off for me? Yep. Thank you. All right. Pardon me. Excuse me. All right, so next I am going to take my beauty sponge. This one is actually a body sponge. I'm just going to kind of dab all over that underbrow area. I don't want you to notice that I have a concealer there. You don't want to make that obvious. You don't want any harsh lines. I'm going to clean it up as much as possible. Even if you have to take your finger to it like this. Yeah. Don't like to tug on my eyes a lot. You want to be very gentle in the eye area. You don't want any skin sagging or wrinkles and that kind of thing. So you want to kind of go in with your ring finger to kind of work the area of the eye. Next, and speaking of eye, I skipped a step. And I approach my eyes differently when it comes to skincare. I do my face stuff, but then I go in for, my under eye cream and serums sometimes. This is the Cheer Up by Pharmacy. Before I even go into doing anything else, I'm out of order. I'm so out of my order. I'm just going to use a pea-sized amount. Apply that under the eye. This stuff is really nice. It has a nice little hydrating glow. I don't know about you, but I feel like the Fountain of Youth is in glow. That's just my personal belief. There are days I like to be a little more matte, and there's nothing wrong with that either, but to me that glow looks so youthful. Women of any age, it just reminds me of youth. Okay. Next, let that dry a little. We're going to go into, I usually use a primer for my eyelid, but I didn't bring one out for this video today. So I'm going to just go ahead and put some of the concealer that I used from my underbrow, and I'm going to put that on the lid to kind of prime, be the base for the shadow I'm going to place on top. Today's palette is by Dominique Cosmetics, and it's called Berries and Cream. Ironically, I'm not going to use most of the berry tones in this palette, and that's because I've been using a lot of berries. I went for like a peachy look the other day, and it turned out very nice. All right. So, the palette looks like this. And these are the colors. Very nice palette. I love, there are a lot of neutral and cool tones in this, so I'm really loving that. There's a color in here called Soft and Sweet, and it's a nice wash for the lid for someone my shade. I'm going to place that all over this lid, and as you can see, I have a lot of lid space. My eyelid would be considered, um, it would be considered prominent, slightly hooded, actually very hooded. My upper lid is very hooded. And because of that, I like to use my 224 brush by MAC. Alright, so I'm going to apply this all over as if it was a wash for the lid. It's a little darker than I had thought it would be. It's okay. It'll work. I'm just sweeping it all over the lid. Alright, next. Going with a color called Chocolate Mousse. Actually, no. I'm going to do Toasted. It's like a little taupey color. I'm going to place that on my outer corner. And then swirl that around in a circle. And then do windshield washer motion into the crease. My natural crease, you can locate your natural crease by tipping your head back and kind of pushing your finger into where the socket is. That is my natural crease. Although when you look at me, it looks like I have a crease there. No, that's not the natural crease. That's what makes my eye shape pretty interesting. Okay, that's one eye. Doing the same on this side. And I've mentioned in my previous videos that this brush, this type of brush, like a blending brush, like I said before, this is the MAC 224, but these blending brushes are ideal for my eye shape. And don't get me wrong, anytime you're doing an eye look, blending brushes are going to be your best friend. But I mostly use a blending brush throughout my looks because of my type of eye. Tilt my head back, I find my natural crease is right there. I'm sweeping that toasted color all throughout the lid. And voila. I don't know, on camera it shows up, it looks like a little purple, but it's not. It's like taupe. Alright, next. Just to give the area a little more depth, I'm going to go in with a shade called Chocolate Mousse in the Dominique Cosmetics Berries and Cream palette. Tapping that on my outer corner and just kind of working it there. I've mentioned this before. And many people that apply makeup, they look at the eye in three portions. You have your outer lid, you have your your middle, and then your inner lid. So 3 portions. This is 1/3, your second third, and the lid, 3/3. Okay. This would be a nice look for a halo. A halo look. A halo look would be applying my darker colors in the inner corner and the outer corner and just sweeping that windshield washer motion here and there. And I'm going to do the same over here. I feel like halos look really nice on my eye shape. It really creates a shape instead of just this one broad surface. All right. All right. I'm getting to where I want to go. I'm going to incorporate a nice, it's like a nice shimmer. It's called Honey Dipped. It's like a true bronzy gold, a rich bronzy gold. I'm going to tap that with a flat shader brush right in the third of the eyelid, and that's going to help create that halo effect. So with the MAC 239 brush, flat shader brush, I'm going to just tap and pat that onto the inner third. And that is really pigmented. That's pretty. That's super pretty. Doing the same thing on the other lid. Now I'm going back in with the shade called Chocolate Mousse and just kind of diffuse around, so there's no harsh lines, around that honey dip shade that I just applied, and just sweeping back and forth through the crease. Next, I am going to take my smudge brush and I'm going to smudge that chocolate mousse on the bottom lash line. And kind of set it up for maybe like a little bit of a wing. My eyes do tend to have they're a little downturned. I find that as I get older, that's what's occurring here. I am in my 40s now. And this might not, be an issue. That might not be an issue for many people my age, but it is my issue with age. All right, taking that same color, chocolate mousse, I'm going to run that across the top lash line. Help give it a smoky effect. All right. I am getting to where I want to go. And that's what's important. That's the most important. Achieving your desired outcome. Beauty is all about what makes you happy, what makes you feel good stepping out, or in this case, stepping from one room to the next. I'm going to take a black eye pencil. It's a Sephora Collection eye pencil in the shade Black Lace. It's a matte pencil. I'm just going to run that really close to my lash line, right on the top lash line. And notice how I grabbed. You don't really want to do that. And I gently hold. Lower lash line. Actually, this is my waterline. I have a small waterline, but I'm going to create that up flick right from here. A little bit of a mini wing. And oftentimes when we want to create a wing, some of us want to do a small wing, and all of a sudden you're trying to make sure your wings are leveled and you have this massive wing that you didn't intend to have. Oftentimes you see people that are walking around and you're like, oh wow, wings, woo, and they look gorgeous. But 9 times out of 10, I don't think they were trying to achieve a massive wing. I think that they played that game of like, let me get them even from one side to the next. And sometimes just doing that over and over, you end up building this massive wing that you didn't intend to. Okay. Sorry, I'm like giving you guys a long nostril here. Okay. So on my other side, same thing. I kind of want to push. When you go darker for anything, you're really receding it, like pushing it back. And that's what I'm doing with my eyes because they're like out there. So I can create a nice thick line and it might not be too intense when you first see it because my eyes are so big. For someone who has like smaller eyes and they do something like a heavy lash line with their eye pencil, it can close the eye off and make it look like their eyes are like really tiny. So they don't want to, you don't want to do that for a person with a smaller eyelid or just smaller eyes in general. All right, lower lash line, waterline. Fair enough. Mm. All right, so because there is a little space in between my lashes and that my lash line, I'm gonna take a that same smudge brush that I used before. I'm gonna use it again and pick up a little of the black from that palette and just kind of press in there. And this also sets. It'll set that eyeliner. And this just ensures that there's no, there isn't any like um, space or sparseness of that lash line. That is all completely filled. Nice. Perfect. I can also set it down here. I'm just going to press nice and gently. I think I have enough product to go from one eye to the next. All right, so eyes are done. I'm going to quickly put on my Marc Jacobs primer, mascara primer. I'm in love with this stuff. I just found out how much I loved it. I'm going to run that top lash line, top lashes here, going downward and then going up. I've mentioned before that I have short lashes. From time to time, I'll put on like a strip lashes, false lashes, and I love that, but ain't nobody got time for that today. So this is what we're gonna do. And this priming mascara is phenomenal. I don't really like to do my bottoms, but I'm gonna do that for the sake of this video. I don't really have much on the bottom. All right, my favorite mascara. This is the holiday packaging of Monsieur Big by Lancome. Going on the top. lash line going downward and then going up. Now typically you want to put your mascara on the bottom first, because when you go to the bottom, when you do the top, you end up transferring. But my lashes aren't even long enough to do that, so it's not an issue for me. But if I were to suggest that to anyone else, I'll be like, do your bottom first. True story, guys. My nephews, my man, have longer lashes than I do. And I'm like, what a waste. They don't have use. I mean, they don't need them. I do. They're not putting on mascara. I am. I think I like. I hope you do too. All right. Like I said, now it's official. The eyes are completely done. Let's whip this real quick, going through the powder, foundation, or just my entire face look using powders. I'm going to use a concealer, though, that is liquid. This one is by Hourglass. It's in the shade Teak. This is their Vanish concealer. Just dabbing a little there, a little there. Like I said, I like to balance. Now, it doesn't matter what order you put on your concealer and your foundation when you're doing liquids. I say either or is okay, whatever works. I typically like to do a liquid foundation first. Then it helps me to determine how much concealer I'm going to need. Some formulas I do like to do my concealer first. And then there's some formulas I, do it the way I normally do. And that's like applying the foundation first and then doing this concealer. In this case, liquids are always before powders. So I'm doing the liquid concealer. I'm going to blend that out with my beauty sponge. Nice. And this concealer is nice. It's buildable.